I, 33 male, found a screenshot of a conversation that I suspect my wife, 39 female, was having with another man, where she tells him how much she wants to be with him but can't right now. Updated. My wife and I have been together for almost 7 years now, married for 2 children ages 2 and 6. We had a huge fight earlier this year and then she had to go out of town with the kids for a couple months for unrelated reasons. I stayed home due to work and would drive up to see them on weekends. I was having a really bad time alone at home. It got to the point where I couldn't sleep. When they eventually came back, things were still rocky between us. She was very irritable and would overreact to the smallest things. I started to suspect something else was going on because of her overreactions to everything, so I snooped on her email, which is always open on our shared computer. I found a screenshot she had emailed herself of a text conversation where she was telling someone that she doesn't like lying or hiding things, and although she is very happy when they're together and she has a great time with him, she is not sorry for anything, but she would rather save her emotions for later when they have the chance to be together. He answers that he will always wait for her. I felt my heart fall to the ground. My first reaction was to think who this conversation belonged to. I was in denial at first, but I quickly realized it was most likely her. I called her and asked her to come talk to me. She did, and I was very distraught when she arrived. I told her what I did and what I found, and at first, she had no reaction. She then seemed angry and told me she had nothing to discuss with me regarding that picture. I insisted and asked who this person was. She kept saying she had nothing to talk to me about. She stormed off without saying anything else, no matter how much I insisted. I walked out of the house. I did not know what to do. I felt like my world was ending. Not only did she cheat, but she didn't even admit it with the evidence before her. I felt like I was worth nothing to her. I was in a very bad mental state and considered ending my own life. She then called me and I kept insisting on asking who this person was and what exactly happened between them. After probably half an hour of her saying over the phone she did nothing wrong, she told me that was not her conversation, and that a friend had asked for her to save that screenshot. At this point I thought this was a lie. It seemed like the perfect answer. It was actually exactly what I needed to hear, but I couldn't believe her. I spent the next couple of days asking the same things to her and she kept saying the picture was not hers. I spent most of these 2 days mindlessly walking around the city. I did not know what to do. I didn't want to leave her if there was the slightest chance that it really wasn't her sending those texts. Then after one of her closest friends went to her house for her birthday and they had a long conversation, she called me and said she was sorry she didn't tell me immediately, that the picture wasn't hers, but she felt very angry that I snooped on her private stuff. She said she did not want our relationship to end because of a dumb thing like this and wanted me to return home. I believed her after this. I want nothing more than to be with her and my kids, so I came back home and we had a long conversation. She brought some things up that she did not like, and so did I, and I felt she was being sincere. She said it was a mistake to email herself that picture that wasn't hers, but she didn't expect me to ever go through her stuff. We decided to give ourselves a second chance, trying to learn from this experience. I admitted to her that I considered suicide and told her I would seek a therapist to try and help me in this and other aspects of my life. My first appointment is next Wednesday. Things were very good for a while. I would sometimes remember seeing that picture and what I felt the moment I found it, but would always tell myself she was being honest with me. But then I started thinking more about it, comparing images, the resolution, the name of the contact on the conversation, all these things that didn't add up. I felt I was being consumed by this anguish. I admit I let it take over me, and I needed reassurance from her that she did not do this to me. So I confronted her again, asking for an explanation to all these coincidences and things that didn't make any sense. She looked disappointed, then left the house with the kids to do some errands. When they returned, we talked again and I straight up asked her who this person was again. I asked her if it was someone from the town she was in months ago. She said she wouldn't answer any more questions. We had already discussed it and there was no point. She said she didn't do anything wrong, but I would never let this go, and although she loves me, she would rather end things between us if I will never be able to trust her again. She then said she was not comfortable with me in the house anymore and that I should leave, that I could spend the night because it's already late but leave tomorrow morning. I honestly do not know what to do. Everything points to that conversation being hers, but she vehemently denies it. I still feel my life is over without her and my children. Now for the top advice before the updates. If she's done nothing wrong, why can't she just tell you the truth? She now realizes that she will never convince you of her story, so she's decided to cut things off. I'm sorry. The next couple years will be tough. But you will have a chance at a better life once you can get past all this and start over. Call a lawyer. Don't leave the house. If your name is on the mortgage, then don't you leave your home. Get her phone while she sleeps and go through it. It's the only way you will get to the bottom of this. If she has deleted them, then you can get software to recover deleted files from her phone. Anything you find, screenshot it for evidence. Also, kids say the darndest thing. Here's where I'll probably get downvoted. But have you asked your 6-year-old how their time was when they went away? Did they have fun? What did they do? If they say mommy said don't, then you know something went down and that screenshot is differently hers. 17 US states are no-fault only divorce states. Evidence is pointless to gather in those places. She can leave if she wants. What country are you in? Don't leave your house. She can leave and she can leave the kids. She has no right to order you to leave. It's hers. If it was a friend's, she would have said so. If it was a friend's, this would have been a non-issue. But it's not. It's hers. She was angry she got caught and then came up with a story. If the story was already there, why not just say so? She and the guy probably decided to give it a go, and that's why she went from come home to get out. Now for the updates. Update 1. I'm adding this update because I didn't mention on the post that she did tell me who this friend who supposedly sent her the screenshot is. I don't know her friend's phone number, so I never contacted her, but I did consider going to her since I had an idea of where to find her. I just thought it wouldn't make a difference. By the time she told me, she could have already called her to get their stories straight. Final update. Most of you were right. After she came to where I was sitting and asked when I was leaving, I told her I didn't know, because I still wanted to believe her, but she wasn't willing to give me any reassurance, so I didn't know what to do. I told her I still loved her, and that I knew that the damage to the relationship was done, regardless of whether she was saying the truth or not, which made me very sad. So, she calmly said that the screenshot was hers, and that it was a conversation between her and the person I had accused her of cheating with. A person we both met when she went out of town with the girls. I made the first trip there with them and then kept going back during weekends. I had absolutely no suspicion it was this guy, other than the first name on the chat screen and this guy's name were the same. I did not know his last name, so I was not sure. She said it was never physical. I told her it was hard to believe based on the messages. She then tried to justify her messages to him with some nonsense. She claimed they talked a couple times and was not sure how it happened. Later, after pressing her, she told me she felt at peace when she was with him and felt like she could trust him. I wanted to know the details: how, when, where. She didn't answer anything else, probably for the better. I feel really strange, like I feel nothing. I cried, of course, but now it feels very numb, which is very strange. My worst fear was just confirmed and my world is over. My girls won't have an example of a happy, healthy relationship at home and will not grow up with both their parents together. That makes me very sad. The girls love both of us very much. They won't have a place where they can come and feel safe when they grow up, and are going through hardship. I will always resent her for what she did to our relationship, and the girls will eventually know the truth. They are both too young right now. For those of you that feel bad for me, I left out the reason of our fight before her long stay out of town. Earlier during the pandemic, we were at her mother's and she saw me looking at her sister's cleavage. I am not attracted to her and have never had issues with her before, but she was sitting right in front of me and I noticed she was wearing a low-cut top. That was it, no leering, no repeated looks, nothing. My wife saw me and wanted to end things back then. I fought for what I wanted, which was to stay with her, and eventually things looked like they were going to improve. She told me this affected her so much that she no longer felt happy with me, or proud to have me as her husband. She then told me she felt unwanted, ugly, useless, and that with him he found calm. Now for the last story. My 43 male wife, 47 female, is doubting our marriage after I gave our daughter, 17 female, condoms. So, my daughter is 17 and has a boyfriend. 17 or 18 male? They've been dating for 4 months. My wife and I have differing views. She doesn't want them being together without a chaperone and she monitors them. I don't have much of an issue with them being alone together and I try to keep communication open with her. Last month or so, my wife went through my daughter's texts to her boyfriend, and saw her ranting about not finding time to get on birth control. My wife got mad and yelled at our daughter for 20 minutes straight. She was about to get grounded, but I spoke to my wife and told her to try to be more reasonable. I told her keeping them apart won't work either, considering they go to the same school and work at the same place. My wife said fine, but that we need to both start monitoring her better. I said sure, okay. A week ago, my daughter asked if she and her boyfriend could go hang out. I'm not big on letting her go out, because even though lockdown has been lifted in our state, the virus still didn't disappear. I asked her where are they going, and she said the zoo. She said it's socially distanced and they let in 5 groups at a time. That calmed me down somewhat, and I said yes. I asked her if she asked her mom and she gave me a look. I said okay, I'll inform her when she gets home. My daughter was about to start driving to pick her boyfriend up, but I stopped her to give her condoms. She looked surprised and I said something along the lines of yeah, this is really uncomfortable, but just take them, and damn was that uncomfortable. She said thanks and left. When my wife got home, I let her know where our daughter was. She was unhappy because she wanted them to be chaperoned. To make my wife a bit happier, I figured we could enjoy our alone time and we watched some movies plus had some wine. Our daughter came home around 10 p.m., her curfew is 11, and I guess she looked too happy for my wife's liking. My wife told her to come here because she wanted to search her purse. I said that's not really necessary. My wife ignored me and proceeded to search it anyways. She pulled out the box of condoms that was open, meaning they were used. She threw the box down, yanked her by the arm, and told her how much trouble she was in. She said she's grounded until she is 18 and that she no longer has a boyfriend. I shouted at my wife to calm down, and told her I was the one who provided her with the protection. My wife looked at me like I had betrayed her. She got quiet after that. She didn't speak to me for the rest of the night. The following morning, she told me that her and I need to talk about our marriage. I said it's going fine. She told me that it's not, because I constantly override her authority as the mother. I got defensive and told her, well, you ignore my opinions as the father. She told me that if our daughter ends up as a stripper at age 20, it's because I let her run wild without giving her boundaries as a teenager. I'm not letting her run wild. Hell, I don't let the girl hang out with her friends if she has more than one C on her report card. I told my wife we just have different views on parenting, and that we need to communicate better. She said whatever and stormed away. It has been a week now and whenever I try to speak to her, she has an attitude or she says something smart. She also turns away from me when we lay down to sleep. I apologized to my daughter for getting her yelled at, and she told me that I didn't get her anything, that it was her mom's decision to yell and no one else's. As long as I have my daughter, I'll be okay, but it would make me very depressed if my wife actually decides that we are too conflicting to be married. What should I do? Now for the top comments. 2 teenagers have asked. You did the right thing. I'm sure we all remember what we were like as teens, so making sure they are as safe as possible is the responsible parent thing to do. 100% on your side. They're going to have S either way, might as well not get pregnant. I bet this mom would be the kind to write hi, 48 female, am too old to be a grandma. Help. After their daughter gets knocked up. I think you should be a little more concerned about the well-being of your daughter at this time, rather than worrying if your wife will leave you. How your wife reacted could be very traumatizing for your daughter. She should be encouraged to practice safe S, rather than take risks. Your daughter now may feel she has to hide everything from the two of you. She also probably feels extremely ashamed for something she shouldn't. She will be 18 in a few months, and I don't think being sexually active at that age is abnormal. I truly hope you take steps to repair the damage done to your daughter and encourage your wife to do the same. Why is your wife against you treating your nearly adult daughter like a nearly adult? Honestly, I think you should be more concerned about how your daughter is feeling right now. Spin this situation back on your wife. Tell her that your daughter is closer with you and alienating herself from her own mother, because she can't be open with her. Tell her that if your daughter was to become a stripper at 20, it was because of her mom's helicopter parenting that made her want to act out as soon as she got freedom. Maybe she'll realize how insane she truly is. If your marriage does end, I can't help but feel like it would be more you escaping your wife than her leaving you. That might sound shitty, but she's controlling to an extreme level, and going by the post at least somewhat verbally and physically abusive. She might not be beating you or your daughter black and blue, but grabbing to cause pain, yelling and name-calling, etc. is still not good. Her outlook is also totally messed up. If she doesn't fully monitor her 24/7, her daughter will be a drugged-up stripper by 20? Ridiculous. As others have said though, your daughter is more important than your marriage right now. Her relationship with her mother is already not good. Don't force your daughter to do anything, but speak to her about how she feels. Your daughter is almost legally an adult. Being sexually active at 17 is common. She shouldn't be treated the way she is by her mother. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. Turn the notification on to get updated on my latest posts. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.